Now, from the University of Okoboji, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee.
Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast, everybody. Back from winter break, I am. And
notice the
little
tinge
flush there.
to his cheeks, which I do not have.
Yeah. It also bleached my beard. It used to be so dark, and I don't know what happened. There's like silver in it now from the sun, I think.
I wonder. The sun?
The sun, yeah, that's what did it. It's not the age. But we're back here at the Dickinson County Museum. Mary Dreyer's here with me, and is it a hodgepodge of information, or are you kind of...
We'll see how the day goes.
Okay, all right.
We had a great conversation this morning at Way Back When Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Which I would invite anybody to come to because it really is fun. Today we started out talking about the post offices.
Ah, yes.
And rural mail carriers and all that. And we had Jim Fliss here, who has been a city mail carrier, or had been a city mail carrier for a long, long time.
Yes.
So he was able to, give us some behind-the-scenes stuff about post offices. But the mail was delivered back in the early days, and I found a little article about a pioneer mail carrier and what he had to do, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to share it with everybody.
Oh, I'd love to hear
because
this.
It's actually from a Mankato newspaper, but the route that this mail carrier took was through Spirit Lake.
Okay.
So it also has local connotations. And I wish I could tell you what year this was. I can't.
Okay.
I don't know it, but I just know it was early.
Sure.
One of the first mail carriers was a man named Orrin Mason. Mason, it related, carried the mail between Mankato and Sioux City. Now, today, no big deal. No big deal at all. At first, doing this on foot. From Mankato to Sioux City. Yes.
What?
Yes. Can you imagine?
No.
Let me read a little more here. He didn't have a pony. That's why he did it on foot. He lugged a pouch weighing 80 pounds on his first trip, one which lasted 8 days, while he swam all the rivers and crossed over unmarked prairies. The mail must go through.
Well,
right?
yeah, but the letters with through a river.
Yeah.
They don't mention that through the rain, through snow, and all that. You never say through a river as well.
It is doubtful, says the story, that there is another man who ever agreed to carry the mail on foot 180 miles and back, and promised to make the trip regularly every 14 days. This guy had to be skinny as a rail.
Yeah, had to be.
Yeah. It's just nuts. Oh, okay, I now know what period we're talking about.
Okay.
This is 1858.
Okay.
So just post-massacre here. So earliest of early days. He left from Mankato the first time on August 23rd of 1858. 8 days later, he laid his pack down in the Sioux City post office, and in 7 more days, he was back in Mankato. Wow.
That blows the mind, doesn't it?
It does. Now,
traversing all that and then getting to Sioux City, and they're like, thank you so much, take this back.
And he didn't have GPS.
Oh, no.
Think about it, Jeff.
Maybe a compass, Let
me go on. He was assisted only by the compass by day and the stars by night to 8 towns. He crossed over 4 rivers, Elk Creek, the Des Moines River, the outlet to Lake Okoboji, and the Ocheyedan River. He stripped, tied his clothes in a bundle, held the bundle out of the water with one hand, and swam across. Then he returned for the mail pouch, carrying it back in the same way. When he came to Spirit Lake, he was told that the next post office in Peterson was kept by a man named Meade, and that it was 34 miles south and 8 miles west. With these directions only, he set out, and when he struck the Des Moines River, he was but 8 miles from Meade's house. After a few trips, he got a horse. The horse made the first trip in 16 days, 1 day longer than the time required for him to walk it.
Now, that's hard to believe.
That's hard to believe. This whole story is hard to believe.
Right. I mean, someone should make a movie on this.
Winter came, and Nason kept on. By nights, he wrapped himself in blankets and slept on the frozen snow, eating frozen meat. On every trip, he encountered Indians. Finally, the Redskins stole 2 ponies from him. Then the government allowed him a guard of 4 cavalrymen. For his services, Nason received the magnificent sum of $1,000 the first year. Later, it was increased to $1,500. Wow.
That is...
Walking from Mankato to Sioux City.
You know, so many of the stories we talk about, you try to put yourself in that time, in that place, what you had around you to help you. This has got to be the most incredible, I think I've heard yet.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. I think this needs to be a movie.
Oh, man.
Or a book. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I hope nobody called the post office and complained they didn't get their shopper that week.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
And the fact that he did it faster than when he had a pony.
Yeah.
When he walked it.
Yeah.
What was that pony doing? Lazy pony.
I think he was nuts.
Yeah.
I truly think this guy was nuts. But
he got his steps in.
Yeah. In our research about the post offices, Frank found something pretty interesting. Well, he found several very interesting things. But did you know that Hagerty, Iowa, in Westport Township, in Dickinson County, has a zip code? The zip code of Hagerty is 51347. Now, that town hasn't been in existence probably since before 1900. I'm not sure exactly when it shut down. And if you're wondering, Hagerty is at the corner of M27 and 230th Street.
Okay.
Southwest of Milford. Then there's another town called Wallace in Dickinson County.
Really?
Yeah. 3 miles from Hagerty. Its zip code is 51338. So these towns that haven't existed, gosh, I bet 120 years minimum. We're given zip codes.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't know towns got zip codes that far back. Well, I thought they were more of a...
They are recent.
Oh, okay.
But evidently, these 2 towns had post offices.
Okay.
So they were in the system, evidently.
And they got a zip code.
They got a zip code. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. I might do that. To send a letter to Wallace or Hagerty with the zip code.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
And see what happens with it.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have to do a follow-up on it. Let us know how that how that goes.
We're working on our depot project. Frank is doing a lot of research right now on the communities for our communities exhibit there. So he's been taking a deep dive into these little communities, their history, their stories, their people, that kind of stuff. And so that's why we've gone down this path after the post office path.
Okay.
Hagerty was founded by a guy named Patrick Hagerty. He came to Dickinson County in the early 1880s and was a resident there for over 35 years, taking a prominent part in the affairs of the county at the time. He was among the first of the farmers to break the sod of Westport Township. He afterwards founded the town of Hagerty in Westport Township. He carried on an extensive mercantile business for a number of years and was also the postmaster of the town, named after him. After retiring from the farm, he moved to Milford, where he held the office of councilman and was also elected mayor of Milford. So he was the founder, and so the town was named after him. Then we go to Wallace, and this town was named for a man named Wallace Smith. He was an early pioneer of Milford, of Old Town Milford, which was south of the Milford that we know and love.
Yes.
He ran a store there for some time. He moved to Westport Township and founded the town called Wallace.
Wallace, yeah.
Yes. What's interesting about him, I thought, that name sounds familiar. Where have I heard that name? And I remembered. Frank discovered that he had been in the Civil War. He wasn't just in the Civil War. He fought at many important battles Antietam, the Second Bull Run, Chancellorsville, and the New York City draft riots. And we happen to have many of his artifacts here.
Is that right?
From the Civil War, in the case in our Civil War. So,
but the town itself didn't take off.
And you know what? Either Wallace or Hagerty, no railroad.
Oh, yeah.
The railroad's
just
Manor
goes to show you that was.
Yeah. What's even more cool about all of this, Frank found another town, and this is one that I had never heard of, and nobody at Way Back When Wednesday had heard of either.
Okay.
It's a little town named Gaylord.
Okay.
Let me tell you
I've never heard of that either. No.
A new town by the name of Gaylord has been located in Dickinson County in Diamond Lake Township. Okay, think Vic's Corner.
Yeah.
That area. It is located at the head of West Okoboji Lake, and a long-felt want has thus been provided for in having a town on the most beautiful of the lakes. It is located on the Sioux Falls and Burlington Railroad and the Worthington and Esterville Railroad. The Manhattan Beach Company expect to make it their terminal point as soon as they extend from Ruthven. The Milwaukee Railroad is also said to strike this new town on their extension to Lakeville, Minnesota. It will be the railroad town of the county for the BCR and will extend a feeder to Sheldon to facilitate the Sioux City travel to the lakes. Town lots are being staked out, and a blacksmith shop and general store will be built as soon as the weather permits, followed by a commodious summer resort hotel. This town will do much to settle the feeling between Lake Park and Spirit Lake on the county seat question.
Oh.
Both towns wanted the county seat.
Sure.
Gaylord would be in between the two towns and would become the thriving metropolis and the county seat. The fine water facilities and good farming country adjacent cannot help but push Gaylord to the front. It will be the stopping off place for Omaha Beach and Manhattan Beach people and will be their nearest post office. Low Vreeland of Diamond Lake is mentioned for postmaster. And this article ends with, "Long live Gaylord, and may the town never live to see its shadow grow less." This was from the Milford Mail, February 23rd of 1893.
Gaylord doesn't have a shadow because there's no Gaylord.
Right. Isn't it interesting? There was all this enthusiasm.
With all the stuff that was going to come together to make this and the county
it was on
seat.
the railroad.
Yeah.
It should have happened. There was a railroad depot in that area.
Okay.
That railroad depot is now part of the motel that's kitty corner from Vic's Corner.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the depot was moved to.
Okay.
But I'm curious. I'm gonna do some deep dive
That piques the curiosity, doesn't it?
What happened to Gaylord?
Yeah, that they had all those things going, had the railroad, and never.
They were on the lake. They had a blacksmith shop. They were going to have a luxurious hotel, and they had a general store.
Yeah. And yet Spirit Lake is the county seat.
Right. And there's nobody knows of Gaylord.
No.
I just love this stuff. It is so fun. It is so fun. There's another town that was dreamed up back in the early days, and that was Tusculum. Have you heard of Tusculum?
No.
It was on the east side of East Okoboji, and it was the dream child of one of our favorite characters that you and I talk about quite a bit, Mr. Snidely Whiplash, whose real name was J.S. Prescott.
Yeah.
He wanted to build a university there.
Wow.
Yeah, and I know that there was a school there, but I don't know if there was ever anything else there. I'm going to take a deep dive into that. These little towns just intrigue me.
Well, the things that might have been and got tripped up for some reason.
Yeah. And why?
And why?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Is the why of it.
You know, it's funny today. You see all the people that have dreams for the Iowa Great Lakes and want to make this happen. You go back 100 and some years, and people had big dreams too, and some came to fruition, and some
did not. And what made the difference? What was the balance there?
Yeah.
You know, why did some succeed and some not?
Yeah.
You know, it's it's just, I don't know, the history of this area is just so incredible.
Yes,
and
it
it's
is.
so fun. And we keep coming up with new stuff about the old stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what makes life really fun.
And that's what makes a museum so much fun.
It is. We get so excited about things like this here.
Well, very
We
good.
really do. We really do.
I know you do.
Yeah.
So we got Way Back Wednesdays, every Wednesday, 10 right here,
Right
10
here.
a.m. Anything else coming up? I know you're doing something on Facebook.
We are now doing, Frank actually is doing Throwback Thursdays.
Okay.
We were gifted this fantastic photo collection from Abu Lafoy, and we're just scanning it and returning the actual photos to him. But these are photos that we haven't seen before, especially of early Milford, and Frank is taking a lot of those photos to build this series on Facebook, which will be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Great. So, well, thank you for having me back.
Oh, it's
after
good
a
to
little
have you
break.
back.
Yeah.
Life is back to normal now.
And all the things I just learned today, Mary, about the early postal delivery here, and a guy who walked from Mankato and then towns I never knew existed, and they were right here in Dickinson County at one time.
I know, but they didn't
Amazing.
make it.
But they did make it. Well, all right, my friend. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's so good to have you back, Jeff.
Thank you, Mary. Mary Dreyer again here from the Dickinson County Museum. History comes alive. Just see what we just found out there. And we want to thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by West Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. The headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji.